Whoa, 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 we are back with some Bleach Soul Resonance, and I'd say I'm right on time. We are coming up on 5 days remaining for the Zay Lapido banner, at which point we will be transitioning straight in to our Grimmjow, our Pantera HALF-ANNI, in about 2 days, actually maybe even 1 day as of this video going up. We will also have presumably confirmation of the next character we're going to be getting, which is crazy. We're just going to straight up know who it is. Let me go ahead and pause and go over to that. By the way, before I do, thank you to anyone who's been watching the videos or keeping up or waiting on the boys' return. I have been on vacation, I said, for anyone who missed that. Also, thank you. A lot of people showed out for the collaboration that I did with Giku and Aaron before leaving, which is super cool. I saw a lot of positivity in the comments, a lot of people saying that they were excited to see me, which always feels very good. I always say it, I'm a bit of a loner myself. I've never really done a collaboration or anything like that, so to see positive feedback when it comes to that, it felt nice. But let me pause here and go over to some of the announcements we've seen now, because they're pretty juicy. I was watching them. I haven't missed a day, by the way, of logging in. I have missed a few days of Dokkan, so that is what it is, but I haven't missed a single day of Bleach Soul Resonance, so let me pause and go over. So I figure we'll just go through a few of these. I haven't looked in here. I just know that apparently Grimmjow's information got leaked. I will not be taking any leaks as gospel as far as what Grimmjow is actually up to. So I'm not really worried about that, but I do want to see other update information. Of course, this is all things you guys could get from Giku, but if you want to just see me react to this, I mean, it's been a week, so let's get into it. So HALF-ANNI early update info. Soifon rerun. No other ones confirmed, but they might be saving it for the stream on Monday. The devs are on record saying Soifon is Pantera's best partner. So this is really cool. Hopefully my capture doesn't break here. Let's see. My capture didn't break. Let's go. So one thing I said, and I think one thing I've heard Giku echo as well prior to this on Twitter, is that this character is kind of unmatched in her ability to get counter hits off, counter attacks off. Her ability to proc this right here, and by comparison, then stuff like this right here puts her in a really unique position where if this is a big time modifier for Pantera Grimmjow, then it's going to be really hard to beat Soifon, because you use her technique, she essentially gives you a counterattack. You use her counterattack by performing a manual passive dodge, she gives you another counterattack, and you use battlefield skill, she essentially gives you another counterattack. Like, it's really, really fast. It's a rotation that's quick, fast, and in a flash. You go into Bankai and then back out into Pantera, and you're just doing tons and tons of damage, I'd imagine, is how that's going to go. So, yeah, I would expect that to be very true, so long as that counter modifier is big, and I am expecting it to be. Double drops again are nice. Frenzy Feast boss is changing to Arankar and Espada bosses. Unknown if there will be new rewards or how exactly it will work, any changes. There's only a few of these that really matter, so we're going to go in here. And that is ranking against Ulquieta. And I say this all the time. If you have an Ulquieta boss, then you have a boss who doesn't fuck around. This is something we talked about on the podcast, and everyone seemed to be in pretty good agreement. The Shinigami, by and large, don't really do anything. The only one who does, I would say, is Aizen. Aizen is the scariest Shinigami by far. The Espada, however, characters like Ulquieta and characters like... Is he not even in here? That's very surprising that he's not in here in any regard. I was going to say Noitada. Noitada is another character who actually ends up doing some pretty meaningful stuff. Is he in here anywhere? Not yet. Zangetsu could be an interesting boss to get a harder version of as well. He's pretty speedy. You can see I haven't gotten all these done because I've literally just been, on vacation, and those fights tend to take a little bit longer. So, and they're permanent as well. But yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting to be getting new Frenzy Feast bosses. I expect the Ulquieta one to deny some people their placements, because autoing him is always a little bit of a risk. Current boss locations. So Yami is in residential area, and then Okieda is in the community park. Okay. Loopy location. Okay. Kanami Tosen. Dordoni. Hotfix patch. Looks like the full blockage event. Fix a damage calculation issue. Okay. Notification for Kaname Tosen. Stream time confirmed. So here's what we were getting to. Stream time confirmed. It will be a pre-recorded stream that won't be the normal bullet point notepad style. This is pretty big. I'd imagine something in the style of Dokkan Battle then. Dokkan Battle tends to do, reveal streams, and they're all done in a studio. And I imagine some of them even being pre-recorded. I imagine it'll be something like that. Very normal. I think this is the first time we're going to be getting a normal ass reveal stream instead of like a wacky like notepad through 8 layers of like Chinese telegraphing from other streamers to translation through Google to us. Like, should be cool. They reveal all of the half-Annie info and give us a teaser on the unit after Grimjo that is very popular, who is releasing in June. And this is where we get to who is the hype unit, which people are going to guess on. We've got Coyote Stark, we've got Yunohana, we've got Okiada, we've got Shunsui, we got Yamamoto. Right off the bat, I'd say all 5 of these are pretty hyped to me. I would say that Yunohana is the least hype if they decide to go with her pre-TYBW form, though. She would just kind of be a healer. She could do other things, but I think we all know what style of Yunohana we'd want. Maybe make her a transforming unit where she ults and then her hair comes down. She could be our first character who is sort of like a permanent transformation unit as well. You know, I think that'd be pretty cool. But I do think that as far as hype units go, I don't think she really makes that cut. Let's see the results. So it looks like the most popular characters in the server, at least, are Okieda, or at least not the most popular, but the ones that are popular that people think are Okieda. Of course, we've had this character soft confirmed for ever. I mean, essentially the beginning of the game. We also thought that this character might come with a new typing, which is like void typing or despair typing or something like that. A green typing. I don't think that'll be coming. Yamamoto is the second most likely. This is coming off the back of a confirmation we got. I would say that Yamamoto would be my big one if I got any. Like, I did talk about already that one of the things I would like him to do is maybe be the Slash Tactics character. If he's the Slash Tactics character, it could continue to keep Slash as essentially the Shinigami team with characters like Kenpachi, a character like Yamamoto, Kisuke here, Byakuya here. Obviously, he'd be getting replaced, though. Ichigo, and so on and so forth, right? I mean, there are a lot of Shinigami in the game. There's no doubt about that. But Slash has essentially only been a Shinigami team, so that could be pretty cool. Can continue to confirm that, essentially. Shunsui, I don't really know what they would make this character, especially depending on which version of the character they used. It's really hard to place. They did say a spirit character was coming, and we all have sort of resigned ourselves to that either being Shunsui or Adabel. I think Shunsui would make a very good spirit character. He's a little wacky in his style, and spirit characters tend to be a little wacky, but we'll have to see. We just got one, so I just really can't know for sure. And then Stark. They did say they wanted to release more Espada, I believe. Like, was that not confirmed in the last live stream that they said that either they or Shueisha want more Espada in the game? So right now we have Zea Lapido. We're gonna get Grimjo, and that's it. What we could then get is that Adabel. So it is odd to imagine that it's actually going to be Coyote Stark. If Coyote Stark was anything, I mean, he'd be a spirit character, right? Like, he's a character who uses guns to fire a Seto. Like, that's a spirit character. I guess you could say that he shoots things, so maybe he could be like a thrust character. Maybe, you know, the arrow right here is essentially the symbol of the thrust character. So I would expect this character to be a thrust DPS or the new spirit DPS. And if he's not the spirit DPS, he could be the Aizen replacement, but it's really weird to replace Aizen before we get a new DPS, I would say. I think Aizen is less likely to be replaced over Toshido as we currently stand with the metagame. No offense to any Toshido fans out there. I think this character rules, by the way. But yeah, that I think by far, actually, and this is, I guess, kind of weird to say, I think Stark is the least likely character to show up on this list. I think I could see Yunohana being a strike support, the SSR strike support, just because, think about it this way. We got Soifon, we were supposed to get Grimjo, and now Strike just needs a support. And what does this game like doing? It likes completing teams. We can see that in the Thrust team. We were essentially getting spammed with Thrust, and they said, we want to complete the team. And the reason that Thrust is so good is because it's a full completed team. Not because the characters are just stronger, which is something they've said themselves. It's not because they think that Nelel is just so much stronger than Soifon. They by themselves have said they think it's because this isn't a full team, right? Spirit is now a full team, but you could argue again, like I said, Toshido is a much older character than a lot of characters. And so that leaves Slash and Strike as teams that are not fulfilled yet. If that is the case, Yunohana being a Strike support makes a lot of sense. She has a very unorthodox style, especially if you use her early instead of using her TYBW. Her TYBW is just a slash DPS. She is the most slashy slash DPS that has ever slashed, right? We don't really need to like imagine that. So I think what could happen is we're coming down from Pantera Grimjo. We want a hype character, but maybe not too hype. Go ahead and complete the Strike team. Make it so we don't have to go back to Thrust. Or Strike, sorry, I keep saying Thrust. We don't have to go back to Strike. We've given you every Strike character you need, and Soifon reran on Grimjo's banner. So if you do not pull Yunohana and you complain about Strike, that's on you, is what they could say. So I could see that very much being the case. For me, I'm hoping for my boy Yamamoto. That's my GOAT. I hope it's Yamamoto. I think he's just my like top 1, top 2 character. I think my top 2 characters are Yamamoto and Shunsui. So if you're wondering where my bias is, it's these two right here. But yeah, that has been me. That has been the return. Glad to be back. I'll be getting into a lot of the new content sooner rather than later. You can see I was doing my daily runs of this guy, and I'll be probably taking on this Perfect Judgment event. You can see 20 out of 20 claim. I have been unable to beat this guy on mobile. So now that I'm back on my computer, I'll be trying to lock in here. But yeah, I've been Lone. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.